2019 Speed Triple RS, the specified drive chain tension is 21 to 30 millimeters. I'm relatively new at doing this. So I've got my bike up on a paddock stand, up on a lift. So this is essentially the same as having it down. The manufacturer says to have the bike on a level surface on the ground, and to take your measurements. The distance halfway between the sprockets, the rear and front sprockets. So this is 62 inches, so mine is about 32 millimeters. 32 inches is where I'll take the measurements, slack, and you want to find the area of greatest tension, least amount of slack, and that's, you want to have that area within the specified range. So I've got a couple tools here. One is this device by Motion Pro, which I found very difficult to use. It has units on one side, slack measurement and absolute measurement. I'm using slack measurement. The other method is the traditional measurement of, measuring vertical tension by just a ruler. So I'm going to start off with this one. Again, I'm 32 inches from the rear sprocket, and should be 32 from the sprocket. So I'm just going to go with the blue chain link here, the starter link here, just as a point of reference. And I'm going to use the center of the pin for my measurement. I'm going to hold this against the swing arm. So, and the key thing is how much pressure do you put up? And I've been playing around with this and trying to figure it out. But I'm going to grasp underneath, and first I'm going to pull down, and just putting, just till the chain becomes taut. Not excessive amounts of pressure like that, and not baby pressure, but just right there. So once again, putting pressure, so that comes out to be, I got the scale in inches. Let me just flip this around. So I'm again using the center of this pin. Okay. So it's right at 5. The center of the pin is right at 5 centimeters or 50 millimeters. So then I'm going to push up. Again, just enough force just to feel it tight. So this is now 20. So that's a difference of 30 millimeters. So from 50 to 20 millimeters. Now this device here, the Motion Pro, you start by kind of hold it in your hand with the Motion Pro label facing you, and you fit this over to your chain at the designated distance from the spring arm. So I got it on there. I'm going to hold the base, and I'm going to push this up. Okay, and I'm applying pressure with my finger on this part. And the key thing is I want this part right here resting against a stable surface on the swing arm. So I'm going to move my finger down to here eventually. So right here. So now I think this is a better place to hold it, and it's stable. Okay, I'm going to push this up. So just so the chain becomes tight. So I'm playing with that, find out the area where it just becomes tight right there. Then I'll take my finger and pull the little black lever down. And then while maintaining steady pressure of this blue piece here against the swing arm, I'm going to pull down till it just becomes tight, trying not to move here. You can see that's, the measure is 30 millimeters, 32 millimeters. So this takes a lot of feel, a lot of practice. It took me, I don't know, maybe I'm slow, but it took me half the morning doing that. So my bike is within spec. I just had this rear tire changed at the dealership, and I assumed they would have put it at spec, and it's right in the range, 21 to 30 millimeters. Now, I just checked only one spot. You would also want to check throughout other spots. This little device here is called the Chain Monkey. I think this is more when you have taken your tire loose and you putting it on, trying to adjust the chain tension. So the way this one works is basically you have to measure the thickness of your chain in millimeters. You can see my chain, measure one of these little, I forgot what you call them, but from here to here it's about 11 millimeters. And there's a table that says for 11 millimeters, you set it on a certain amount, and then you look in your manual and see what your specified tension is, and use that table to adjust how far up to fixate this bottom rim of this cap along these numbers. So here you can see it's got a number from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This chain monkey. And for my bike's specifications, mine is somewhere between the number 1 and 2 for the Speed Triple RS. So right now, if I stop right here, the bottom part of this cap is on 1, but I want it somewhere between 1 and 2, so I'm going to screw it in a little bit further. And this little rubber piece, which screws down too, it's supposed to be flush against the orange piece, and I've already preset this, so I know. So you preset it for what you expect your bike to be. So mine is, the bottom of this is between 1 and 2. So I would fit it on the chain like so. Or actually, I should have loosened it. But this will limit how far it screws down. So you fit it on the chain like so, and then you screw it in, and it will put a bend in your chain and put some tension on the chain. You screw it into this part, to this rubber piece touches the orange. It just barely touches it. It'll be super tight, over tight. It's going to put a bend in the chain. Okay, so there's that. So it's put a bend. Now I would just tighten my chain, pull my wheel back, or pull it forward into the point where the chain has no tension in it. As you can see, this is already set, so the chain basically has no tension. But if it was too loose, you can see that there won't be as much of a kink. There's a lot of play in the chain. So if adjusted properly, you won't have any tension in the chain. So I'm going to screw that back in until that touches. And you can see that the chain is taut. And so basically that means the wheel has been pulled back or forward enough to the point where this, then once you're done, you're done and you tighten your wheel down and everything, then you release this part. So again, you'll have to refer to a table on the packaging for this or on the website. So there's a scale here between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you adjust this you adjust this rubber. You can screw this rubber piece in, down, or back out. It's kind of hard to do. So you kind of, the table gives you certain measurements. Like mine, like 0 was for a certain chain of my thickness of 13 millimeters thickness. 0 was, if I set the bottom part of this cap to 0, it was for a chain tension of 13 to 25 millimeters. If I set it to 1, it was 13 to 25 millimeters. If I set it to 2, it was like 26 to 38 millimeters. So my chain is supposed to be 21 to 30, so I kind of chose the area between 1 and 2. Again, this is for once you've had the wheel off or you've had slack and you're just using a quick way of getting the tension on there. All right, hope that helps.